Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another fun-filled episode of the Blerd Assassin Podcast. I'm Rob Days. It's the homie Stelios. We're still here cranking them out for the end of the year, and we're happy to be here with you all. So, yeah, thankful for that. Thanksgiving just passed, and we're happy to be here.
I'm going to work on my intro. He does that shit good. I'm going to get it down.
Well, you remember the first time I used to fuck it up, so I've kind of polished it like a turd.
Brian Gumble shit now. It's in there now.
I'll take it. Brian Gumble is a unsung hero of the black community. Contrary with the Wayans and In Living Color had you believe, man. He's an unsung hero. Man. We're gonna do a show on people that we thought were coons, and then we'll try to decide upon today's standards.
That for special people from now on. I feel like I cheapened it. All of 2020.
Oh, because coons. Yeah, we did that last. We talked about that last episode. Yeah, we'll do one of those. We'll do one of those. Today, we will be discussing something that's been catching wind, and a lot of internet, which is funny because I thought everybody knew a lot of this. But I'm a history guy, so I'm a fan of history. But I won't use that as bragging rights. I'll just say hey, it's known fact. There's the internet has been in an uproar due to the surfacing of some information regarding the late First Lady, Nancy Reagan. Nancy Reagan has been pegged by today's society due to what has been claimed by what's the author's name? Kitty Kelly, I believe, who, what's funny is she wrote a book, and this book came out like in 1990, 91, which was a biography regarding...
With quotes, biographical quotes.
Biographical quotes and notes, regarding the history and the life of Nancy Reagan. And the one that the internet has picked up lately is that Nancy was a gobbler. Some may say.
Gobbling, I think is what they call them.
A Hollywood blowjob bandit.
The throat goat.
A throat goat. That's the one that picked up. I like that
one. How about the throatus? I like that. Like the POTUS.
The POTUS?
The throatus. I thought that was a good one.
Clever. I didn't hear that one.
The head doctor of Hollywood.
The head doctor of Hollywood, man.
Doc Hollywood.
The inventor of the presidential.
Yeah.
So, but
she got some names.
She had some names apparently, and that's what we want to touch on today. Just going on this because it seems to be a buzz on the internet.
I'm calling bullshit. She don't even have lips. Like how?
That's funny.
How can you be the throatus? I guess you can be the throatus as long as you're the first lady, but you can't be you can't be the queen. Like how? You're not. Nobody used the word super, so it could have been all that because we know who's super. We know what she do.
My thing is the whole lips thing. That's never stopped any white woman in the history of dick sucking from being poor at what they're trying to advance in. So I don't think lips are a factor. I think I take that back. Lips are a factor, but it's like people play basketball. They can't dunk all the time, but they might have a nice ass three. They might have a nice ass three. So I think that's where Nancy came in.
Because I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research.
But aside from Nancy's dealings with her tonsils and that thing in the back of her throat.
Gawk.
The
gawk. That's what that's called. I think it's called like the uterus, and you have a gawk right there.
It's right there. And aside from that, we want to touch on some of the history of Nancy, aside from all of her dick-sucking escapades, because, that's
getting awfully raunchy. It's him this time. I don't hear shit about me.
It's always me. I'm not ashamed of saying dick suck because, hey, apparently the First Lady was a fan of it.
Well, see, I feel like we shouldn't on somebody who, if they was to see this, they could say something, but she don't have the option. Like when certain people, certain figures die, I just think to myself, good riddance. And I'm going to curtail my jokes a little bit now because they're not here. But I didn't really cut Rush Limbaugh no slack, so I guess Nancy don't get no pass here. Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's go. With Nancy, I mean,
edit that part out. Don't even act like I even said.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, with Nancy, let's start. She was a actress in Hollywood. You know what is surfaced of late is regarding her time in Hollywood. So let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit from past
small
that.
Hands or something that just make you look huge or something. Because why would everybody?
Imagine this is Hollywood in like the 40s, 50s,
That's
60s.
what I'm saying. So them dudes,
so things was all kind of
So they need a chick with small hands, like, for real. So she must be like, I don't know.
I don't think they expected much. The thing is, like,
I never seen her as a young.
She wasn't all that.
That's
what I'm thinking. Like maybe her BJ skills was like up to par because she wasn't all that. It's like she was like a Hollywood leading lady.
And wrinkled too, because they just don't look like she can do no work. Like I saw her doing them Crypt Keeper years.
We all did.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be born so that I was just playing with G.I. Joes while she was having her reign of terror. So, but the effects, still was ringing when I got to be of age.
Of age, when you were aware. Yeah,
that trickle down nonsense and shit. I wonder if she came in with that, or was that really Ronald?
It does sound like her.
Yeah, that sounds like some bullshit.
It might have been her. It might have been her. But Nancy, like I said, we'll fast forward past a lot of her time in Hollywood. I'll stop at the point in time when she was accused of being a communist. She was on a list full of other Hollywood actors and actresses that were accused of being communists. And this is when her relationship with Ronald Reagan first surfaced. After this list came out, she went to him because Ronald Reagan was the president of the Screen Actors Guild, SAG, as they like to say in California. People, but she went to him and he helped her out of that predicament. So I believe that's where the relationship
I know what his
started.
statement was: a bony lip BJ from the Crypt. Oh, she was fine back then. They said, but a bony lip BJ, and next thing you know, so really, this whole Me Too movement, y'all might want to rethink it because look what she got.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, we'll say that for later.
After that, Ronald Reagan was married before, and he did have 2 kids. He had a daughter, and he had an adopted son by the name of Michael. Now, these two came along. They were a package deal.
Lesson, right?
You're welcome. These two came along as a package deal with Ronald during his governor of California gubernatorial run.
Yeah.
And it was stated that while it was surfacing prior to the marriage, she was the perfect dad's girlfriend. She was all about the kids and all about them, and she buy them stuff and treat them like mom, and just a loving relationship between the two. After the marriage and when the political campaign started, she started treating those 2 kids like shit. She would later go on to have a daughter and Ronald Jr. Now, Ronald Jr. was the most favored child of all. It was stated that Nancy wanted to give Ronald a son. She wanted to give him a male heir over everything, so much that the daughter was kind of treated like shit by her own accounts.
Like Game of Thrones, man.
It kind of does. They do.
Like a prequel.
That's exactly who she sounds like on some Cersei shit. But the youngest daughter was kind of shunned by Nancy, according to this book by the Kitty Kelly author, to the point where she went ahead and got. I basically made sure that she couldn't even have kids because she never wanted her mom's genes to be passed on. That's what the daughter said. That says a lot. Yeah, that says a lot about you as a parent. If your child is willing to basically cut off all means of reproduction.
Got to stop right here. I'm not passing this shit off.
Thin lips and whorish heart must stop. But yeah, that's kind of rough. But she favored the oldest son, and that's the son that has never said anything bad about her. Now, moving forward, the political career of Ronald Reagan is something, if you go and research, he's really the first Trump. He's the first celebrity.
Isn't she
president?
Just Say No?
She was Just Say No.
Just Say No.
That was her. Ronald Reagan had 2 terms, I believe, beginning in 84 to 86. 80 to 84, then 84 to 86, and that's when Bush came at 87, right?
No, they started in 81.
81?
All the way to 89.
89. Okay.
Yeah.
So that carried on. It said that she was the figurehead in all of these decisions because Ronald Reagan, I mean, by the time the second term came, they said that in the author's own words, she was the first to notice that Ronald Reagan as a president was closed for repairs, which basically led to us, now that we know he had Alzheimer's, which I would not wish this on anybody's parents. Alzheimer's has got to be a fucked up way to go, and it's a fucked up way to deal with, a family member. So I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But yeah, she was the first to notice that. So kudos to her. With her being in the public eye, she had to make sure her husband, who was the president, was up on his P's and Q's. It stated that
supposed to cover his ass for him.
He's supposed to cover his ass.
Yeah, like Joe Biden looking a little suspect nowadays. Like somebody need to get out there.
And get
put a chip in him or something so he can finish a thought without going to sleep in the middle of it. I digress. I digress.
But that goes to show you, I think that first lady plays more of a role, than just
she's like the
figurehead.
First female president, really. Like
she really was.
She had her hand up his butt like a ventriloquist, like for the last few years.
A lot of those decisions that were made via Nancy. And
that's what they say.
Well, that's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they say. And the people that are saying it are people who are House secretaries, people, underlings of underlings, close to the situation, who have said that Nancy Reagan was running the show. Primarily, she was running it. They said she was very driven. She wanted this position. She wanted her husband to have this position. They said Ronald Reagan was driven. He had to be driven to be an actor. First of all, you're not taken seriously.
Has anybody ever seen a Ronald Reagan movie?
I never have. Have you seen a Nancy Reagan movie?
I forgot she was in Hollywood.
What? She did like 11 movies where she was like in the fucking movie, like a pivotal role.
All those Mary Poppins chicks look alike, though.
No, you compare. No, bro. Okay, we're going side by side right here of Mary Poppins versus young Nancy Reagan. And you're going to see, like, dude, no. Mary Poppins was kind of popping.
Yeah. Karen's a Karen.
I get it.
Yeah, whatever.
But with that being said, like, she motivated him to go for that governor role, and she was pushing him and she was behind it. And a lot of the times she was relying on the logic of astrology. Have you heard this?
Like Miss Cleo?
Like Miss Cleo.
She would choose your press secretary. Let me see his hand. Nah, he got a long lifeline here. Yeah, that's not him.
No, and that's what it was. Like it stated that she would rely on astrology for decisions, and she went to the point so far as she shopped around astrologers to the point to where she found one who was like, yes, this is the right time for you to run, for your husband to run. It's right here. Like, she shopped around. Like, no, maybe that sounded like the first 2 or 3 was like, nah, I don't see this in your future.
They're like one of them dudes, like astrologers, like what's your sign?
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you all that shit off of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, what's your sign? What's your sign? Isn't really it depicts
astrology.
It's astrology. It's not so much as tarot card reading. That's a different type of belief system. As far as I know.
But are they both astrology?
No, astrology is more associated with the placement of the universe.
Mercury
at that point,
in the second house today and all that shit.
There you go.
Yeah, I thought that's how you figure out what your sign is.
That's exactly how you figure it out.
So
but
it's all the same. I mean, I don't know.
Tarot cards is like your future.
Astrology. The fact that we're grouping them all together means you don't want to be part of any of it. Like, what the fuck? I don't want to see nobody throwing no chicken bones on the table saying, uh-oh, or the tea leaves, or, like the number 6 popped up 42 times a day. I don't want to hear about it, man.
It may not be your thing. I'm not one to shit on anybody's fucking culture because my people like our religion, our belief system. Belief system? Can we agree to that?
I'll call it a quirk. You're a quirky motherfucker. Like okay, I see you doing your little fucking third eye thing over there.
Okay.
But we're trying to have a serious conversation now. All right.
No. That's where we're at. I mean, everybody has their own belief system, but there's that certain belief system in society, certain belief systems, where it's like, I don't think the entire governing body of the most powerful nation on the planet should rely on. And, you know, case in point, like her being an astrologist and relying on astrologists. And they were saying they were all benign. They would not go overboard with the stuff, but it was like, oh, this may be the best way for you to go about this. If you ever had a tarot card reading or some sort of, like, look up your astrology in your newspaper, it's like, oh, hey, this fits me. You know, it's kind of like broad. But it could be pinpoint. I don't know. I can't say, but it's not something concrete. You know, it's concrete as my belief in Stanley. So, you know, being a prophet, Stanley. You know, good old Stanley. But I think
the Simpsons be telling the future.
That's a rough one. That's a rough one. Those are the belief systems. But it's who's to say 30 years from now you can't say that the first lady relies on Simpsons reruns to govern the most powerful nation on the planet.
The Simpsons have impressed me more than that Nostradamus shit they talk about every 10 years. Like, oh, it's about to be a fucking cataclysm. It's over for us. I've been waiting on this shit for 40 years now.
She was,
I don't know.
I don't know.
The Simpsons predicted Donald Trump. Nobody else did.
They predicted a lot.
Predicted Donald Trump.
Predicted a lot. And I remember that one. That was a rough one. I mean, that's...
I wish they was wrong sometimes.
With belief systems, I mean, this was one to, I don't know, like, would they have, I don't know. Like, people were so narrow-minded, it's hard to believe that a lot of people were aware that she was relying on this. You know, I believe that the Reagan household, like, denied it for a while, and it surfaced because, you know, secretaries, and like, okay, yes, astrology, we relied on it. Even Reagan had his own astrologer, his in-house astrologer, who he called on, like, how should I approach this situation with Grenada when I talk about it? And this person was, like, basically a part of the cabinet when it came to information being a resource for Ronald Reagan that he would actually use. He used this astrologer. This was one of the few people that Nancy trusted for him to talk to, because everything else, they'd say, hey, there's an upcoming invite to the USSR from Gorbachev, and he'd look at the paper and say, has Nancy seen this? We'll give it to Nancy, so she can read it before she shoots it down. Like, that's like how much power she had, you know, but she allowed it to go to this astrologer who Ronald Reagan had an open conversation and relationship with. It's kind of strange. Now, Ronald Reagan, I mean, they both had their extramarital affairs, apparently. You know, Ronald Reagan, like, he had a side chick. It seemed like Nancy was the side chick until she wasn't, and then there was still a side chick up until the first daughter was born. And, you know, who's to say what happened there? But they said that there's an accusation that Nancy was actually in an affair with Frank Sinatra. You hear about that one? There's a picture of them, and there's a picture.
How did I not know any of this shit? Like, I guess because I don't give a fuck about them. But
it's crazy to realize that this woman ran the leader of the free world. She was the leader of the free world.
50 Cent needs to make a show about this and fucking do
and put it in the 50 universe along with BME.
Hey, 50. I need you to go ahead and fucking
do guest appearances, like Marvel. But yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how much this shit went. But you know, and it's, you know, with that relationship with Frank Sinatra, there's a picture I'm going to post here regarding, you know, with them dancing together and Ronald basically butting in, that was released without anybody's say so. You know, in regards to Nancy Reagan or Sinatra, the press secretary said the press goes out at 3 a.m. This is the best picture of the night. Here it is, and you know, and they said that Nancy would fly to Chicago frequently. And
getting flued out.
She was flued out. First to get flued out. And she would go out there frequently. And
just doing a rerun of Nancy these days.
It's crazy. Yeah, but she was getting flued out to Chicago, and she would spend time in Frank Sinatra's hotel. They weren't, you know, his hotel room. That's what they actually stated. So it's kind of strange, man. Like, you know, her I'm
sure there was nothing. No hanky panky going on there. Not the first lady.
Not apparently how she got down. She got down. It like.
But I think when you see these kind of things, it's normally the same party we're talking about all the time, and I don't think this type of shit coming to light at any point during her career would have mattered, because, like, I think all people dig in once they vote for somebody. Like, I'll be damned you run him out of office and make me look bad. But they really fucking dig in. Like, I don't care what he said on TV. Grab a pussy, my ass. Of course he grabbed pussy. What he supposed to grab? He supposed to grab a dick? Of course he grabbed pussy. They'll flip it on you. I'm not gonna turn on my candidate. So I don't care if Ronald Reagan came out and said I have dementia. They were like, don't you fucking concede that shit. Like, no, Nancy would run. If he wanted to, they would have stopped him. So I just think, like, all of this shit, we saw it with Michelle. Michelle wore a sleeveless dress before. They fucking crucified her.
They did.
Yeah, but
that they did.
Then we got, on the same token, what's Melania Trump, who got pictures who, might be in my spank bank. I'm not gonna say they are. I'm not gonna say they ain't. But she got some provocative pictures.
She ain't in mine. That ain't even when I was on them. That wasn't my type of snow bunny.
I tried to because like I did like a Saturday Night Live thing. Like, we got I have some search bar issues with my thing. A lot of political shit comes into my Pornhub search, and I don't know how it just happens and shit. But like, I got some Barack and Michelle. Anyway.
I drew the line at nailing Palin. That's as far as I went.
Palin gets the black vote. You ever
nailing
seen that one?
Palin.
No. Watch Palin gets the black vote. Watch that one. Hey, she worked hard for the black vote over there.
Don't watch any of that.
No, don't watch any of that stuff. But I'm saying, Melania got some stuff along those lines, and it was no big deal. I think slut shaming became a word because you better not say nothing about Melania. Back to slut shaming.
Back to slut shaming. I mean, this now that's it's full circle.
How is that a thing?
Because with Nancy's story, she apparently was a terrible actress. The only way that she got any fucking roles in Hollywood was
like,
through
you're Nazi shaming him. Don't Nazi shame him. Some people need to be ashamed a little bit.
Nancy was basically a terrible actress, and she found her hurdle or boost up in Hollywood when she started sleeping with the president of MGM. And this person was basically giving her leading roles, and I mean, because it's true. I mean, apparently, according to historians and people who have done it's a biography, it's other newsworthy articles about it. I mean, shit, it's out there. She's in the essence of sleeping your way to the top. She did it. She did it. Now, on that same note, is she to be celebrated by the people who celebrate or who are against slut shaming and equate women's liberation to open sexuality so much to the point where they're damn near naked?
In defense of Madonna, they kind of slut shamed Nancy, because I didn't know any of this, and they put all this shit out about her. Like, they were defending fucking Madonna, which is funny already. Like, don't we talk about Madonna? The Madonna Hive come out, and they slut shame. It's like when I go to fucking Planet Fitness and they say, don't do all of this shit because it makes you an asshole, but it's the judgment-free zone. like, what are you talking about?
Here's my thing with Nancy in her Hollywood days in regards to slut shaming or not or what have you. She was basically accused of this, and it's been noted that she was doing this. She was sleeping her way to the top. Excellent BJ giver, which puzzles me because back then, I mean, it could have been, I believe it had to be hard to come across the broad to give you a BJ. It wasn't something that was just commonly given. Sex was like, something like taboo still, or taboo to be spoken about. So it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that, like, it was a large amount of women giving BJs, at least as much as there are today. You know what I'm saying? We've progressed.
Bad movies. They had, at one point they had a married couple sleeping in twin beds in the same room on TV. Like, ain't no fucking way they got twin beds in their room. Yeah, that's weird.
Ozzy and Harriet.
Yeah, that whole fucking My Three Sons bullshit. Yeah,
Bert and Ernie.
Yeah, like, cut it out. Yeah, so man,
different story.
Trust me, it's been bony lip BJs since the fucking dawn of time in America. I mean, because colonizers was running around, and Indians.
That they were.
Lips running around for at least the first. When did we get here? Whatever year that was. When Plymouth Rock landed on us, that's when they stopped being bony lip BJs.
It's
You're welcome.
How when she was doing it, sleeping her way to the top. This is how women did it. Did she actually create the climate in Hollywood and in society, entertainment field, that hey, it's okay for a woman to fuck to the top? That women now are basically sending Harvey Weinstein to jail for? Like, is that the climate that was created by women like Nancy Reagan? Now, I don't believe you should force yourself on any woman. I'm totally against that shit. I think any man that does that is not a man. Pussy's out here for free. If you can't get it, just on the humdum, you're a weak individual, and leave it at that. Don't force yourself on women. So Harvey Weinstein, he's a piece of shit. But is that the climate that was created by women back then of that generation, like Nancy Reagan? Like Nancy Reagan may have been one of those pioneers that allowed men in Hollywood, men of privilege, white men of privilege, the American male hire patriarchy, that people are so against. Well, there are women who were actively involved in generating that direction that the climate went in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that power dynamic has always existed, where you need something from me. What are you gonna give me to get it? And I think it was more acceptable to say, like, almost expected. Like, when you get out there to Hollywood, you're gonna have to learn to use them bony things to get where you want. You're gonna be waiting tables and doing that at night.
Especially if you're a piss poor actress.
Right. And I'm like, I feel like it was two people involved in that. She knew what she was doing and she knew what she wanted in it. So I don't see why. No, I'm not saying Harvey, what's his name? Harvey Weinstein is not a piece of shit, but I'm saying a lot of them approached him because they knew Harvey's the guy to go to. If you give him what he wants, you can get ahead in this shit. And some of them walked in with that mindset. That's kind of fucking what Meg Thee Stallion is rapping about, that everybody's loving.
Nah.
The slut shame only goes one way. No, yes, it does.
Different slut shaming. I believe it's okay.
See, look, it's bad for the guy who got the power to say, I want some of that. But it's not bad for her to say, I know how I can get him to do what I want him to do. Use what you got to get what you want is an expression of power for a woman.
I wouldn't.
But the guy who's got the power, who's like, all right, I got it, and what you gonna do to get it? Now he's a piece of shit. It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know, but because listen, like me and you have never been in that much of a major position of power. Our major position of power is like, I'm a man, you're a woman. That's it. I'm not gonna force myself on you. We haven't been like, I can change your fucking life
Mount
if you.
Rushmore of light skins, so I do flex that every now and then.
You and Ice-T.
Yeah. Not Ice-T. No. He's on my stand-in when I'm not available.
But like that position of power, we've never experienced that. You know what I'm saying? But we were basically raised by women to respect women, to know, like, I don't have to force myself or give a woman anything to get some fucking pussy. Like, it's out here for free again. So that dynamic, I believe if you're using it for sex, you're a low-browed individual, but that's not my thing. Now, that can't go both ways, because there are women out here molesting men and little boys as well. It goes both ways. I feel you're a sick individual.
I don't see how molestation comes up when we're talking about
the power dynamic.
Yeah, like that's not.
No, the power dynamic in sex.
Are you talking about physically forcing yourself on? I'm talking about
like Weinstein did.
No, is that what he was doing?
Yeah,
physically.
No. He actually did.
He was kind of like.
I'm just saying that goes with that Hollywood.
What are you gonna do for it? He was that guy. He was a dirty old man.
Nah, he was calling everybody to his. And that's the thing.
He called you to his house.
And call you to his house.
I'm not going. There it is. Power dynamic.
We know that now.
Yeah, but shit. I heard Terry Crews big ass say Harvey Weinstein was like giving him a reach around or some shit in front of his wife. I'm like, man,
that wasn't Harry Weinstein. That was Harvey Weinstein. That was somebody else.
Oh,
but, I mean,
whatever. The other Harvey Weinstein.
That's what I'm saying. The power dynamic that was created for white men to succeed and do what they want in Hollywood because they're producers and directors. Was that's what we have to say. It goes back to the generation that Nancy apparently came from. Was her generation responsible for helping create that dynamic and making it be okay? That's the question. That's what I want y'all to think of during this podcast and as you leave this podcast. But what about if it's a dude
and he like 6'4", 250 like Terry Crews? Is there still a power dynamic in there? Like so has he been like is he, because he said he was part of Me Too, which I'm like, I mean, come on, bro. Like, come on,
different story. We'll talk about Terry Crews some other time. My thing is,
we done got on something else. This ain't about Nancy no more.
Well, no, it's the power dynamic in Hollywood. That's possessed by white men in Hollywood. And was it created by the generation of?
She's like the hero of the story then. So
is she the hero?
Kind of like used her because he was a powerful white man. She flipped it around and BBB'd him. BBBJ, bony lip BJ. Anyway, she did that and she turned the tables on him. So this is like a fucking Netflix. I'm telling you, 50 Cent. You need to fucking
50
get in
Cent
here.
needs to do this and add it to his 50
But
verse.
if he do
on
it, it won't
BME.
be all like Lifetime-ish, like she overcame his bullshit, and, you know.
50 should definitely do that.
And then in the end, he got what he was coming to, and he went crazy, and she was a puppeteer, and like, yeah. So 50, get to it before they do, because this is gonna be a story. It's gonna be a movie.
It's all his story. It's been a story since 1991.
It's gonna be a movie. Tell it. And if Lifetime gets a hold of it, we're never gonna hear the end of this shit.
The Nancy Reagan story.
God damn. Can you
Boy,
imagine
somebody gonna get
Lifetime?
murdered during production if that shit go into play. Nah, that's not gonna happen. Do your research. Do your research. Look into this. Like, did she help create that climate? Did she feed into that climate that was created for the white male patriarchy to treat women the way they did in Hollywood with all the BJ she was given? And is she truly a hero in the women's sexual liberation front that they're trying to put her in?
But at the same time, she was a victim, though, bro. No, she is all of that. She's all. No, I'm just telling you what it's gonna be. Like, this is why they're gonna hate you on this episode, because she was a victim, and she was also a pioneer and a hero of women's sexuality. Because she sucked whoever she wanted to suck off. You know, who are you to shame her about being the head doctor of Hollywood?
I want to see what they think. I
Yeah,
want
I'm
to see what
telling
people
you,
think.
it's gonna come. Like,
That's
man,
cool.
It's like the ultimate contradiction.
I'm ready
Don't be
for it.
slut shaming people.
That's
Don't be slut shaming people, but don't be slut shaming people. But don't be slut shaming people.
Hey, we'll check y'all out. Leave a comment, leave a like and subscribe. I'd like to
Don't
tell y'all,
leave.
no. Like and subscribe have been saying something detrimental about your mom for the past 4 weeks. I suggest you hit both of them because I believe they deserve to be hit in the mouth. I'm not going to do it for you. So go ahead, like, subscribe, and live and love life.
That was like 50 minutes.
So long.
Yeah. You
Catch y'all next time.
Cut out the extreme.
Gliding like I'm a roller skate with dudes who work Section 8s, while y'all me just work the block off a minimum wage. But if you was smart, you knock off your boss and get you a raise. So fire away, here come the heavyweights with the Mo-Dog stats batch. But I ain't Lorenz Tate.